Welcome to the Fantasy Football Hub YouTube channel. Today I'm joined by FPL Salah to preview game week 11. Abdul, how are you doing, my friend? You had a very good week last time out, another solid green arrow, and you're beating me now by about 1 million places, which doesn't feel great. But anyway, how are you? And run us through your last game week.
Yeah, doing good. I'm glad I got another green arrow. I used two of my free transfers. So the ones I talked about, I bought in Mateta for João Pedro, which was a dead even because João Pedro decided to take his annual like
Shot.
allocation of shots in one match.
Yeah.
I think he got about 6, 7 shots with like over an XG. Um, wasn't too happy about that, but still glad Mateta scored. And then also I bought in Minty as well for Rangers, which turned out to be a great move because Rangers was benched, and then Minty somehow managed to get 2 assists. I think it was
Sorry,
like
I've
two
only
FPM.
just realised that he got 2 assists. I thought like one was taken away. Did he get that one given back then?
No, and the one wasn't. Yeah, so the first one he got, the second one was supposed to be, I think, wafer, but it hit him. Like it was like one of those where
Wow.
the ball was passed in the box and it just flicked off his foot. So obviously the last touch was off Minty. So yeah, that was a really jammy assist. But I'll take it. So that turned out to be a good move. So 81 points. Can't complain. Up to almost inside the top 1 million now.
I mean, to be fair, top 1 million by game week 10, game week 11. That's pretty decent, isn't it? Like I know it sounds a bit weird to
Yeah.
say, and I'm sitting here at 2 million, so it's obviously a little bit different for me. But generally, if you are within the top 1 million or like around about that after the first 10 game weeks, you've actually had a pretty good start to the season because you've got to remember that loads of
Yeah.
people above you probably have used. I know it's different this year with chips, but they've probably
hmm
either got a little bit fortunate. Like it takes time, doesn't it, for like the landscape to settle, and there'll be a lot of like elite managers that aren't doing that well that will catch up, and then there'll be people in the top 100k, 10k that have had amazing
Yeah.
starts, but they're not like top managers. So in theory, they should drop back down a little bit. But yeah, top 1 million is pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy with top 1 million. I mean, I think even top 2 million is fine.
You don't just have
I
to
think.
say that because I'm on the video.
No, honestly, I'm not because the difference between like right now, I think top 1 million and 100K is like 50 points. So like I think between top 2 million and 100K would be around about I'd say 70 possibly something around that.
Oh, that's all right.
So like 70 points is like nothing at this stage of the season. It's only game week 10. We've not even got into any double game weeks or anything like that. So yeah, I mean, like I think this time last season I was somewhere around 3, 4 million, and I think I finished at 70K. It was so still plenty of time. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, I know we kind of said in previous videos like no, it's too early to worry about rank. I don't. I think it's still a bit early to worry about rank, but I think now we should start. It's game week 10, so
Yeah.
over 1 quarter into the season, so we should start looking to make those gains now because we've got enough information, and we know about the players and who's getting the def con and things like that. So hopefully we can start making some real ground now.
Let's have a look at your team for game week 11 because the first thing I want to ask you about is just something that I've been thinking about quite a lot. When you talk about we have the information now, 10 game weeks worth of data. You've got
hmm
Saka in your team, Semenyo as well. And then outside of that, you've got sort of three players at a very similar price, these mid-price midfielders that are doing pretty well on the whole. Maybe Enzo Fernandez less so recently, but like Salah had a good
Yeah.
start. Minte's been good. I want to ask you about players like Declan Rice, Dominic Szoboszlai, even someone like a Caicedo, players that like traditionally wouldn't really be FPL options. I mean, Szoboszlai's a little bit different, but like Rice has never really been an FPL option. This year he's
Oh,
sitting super high in the overall point scoring charts, like way above Saka. Um,
yeah. He's second overall, Rice, among midfielders.
there you go. Do we have to like now that we've had 10 game weeks of data and we are actually seeing these? I don't want to say defensive midfielders, but midfielders that have some attacking upside, but not much really. Let's be honest. But then are good for defcons as well. Do we have to start taking them more seriously?
I think we do, but I think it needs to be contextualized. Like the three guys you mentioned, they're like Caicedo, Rice, and Szoboszlai. I think Caicedo. I mean, if you're looking at his stats and underlying numbers of all three, Caicedo's I think the one that's been quite lucky so
Yeah,
far. Whereas I think Rice and Szoboszlai are genuine options. Because I do think, Szoboszlai is probably going to be played in midfield now because obviously he has spent a lot of the season at right back. In the last few games where Liverpool have done well, he's kind of reverted back to, playing fullbacks as fullbacks, Conor Bradley there and Szoboszlai in midfield. So when he's in that position, he is a good option. He's not going to get like Rice or Shaw's like aren't going to get you like 20 goals and assists in a season, but they're going to tick along. And Szoboszlai's there. He's on set pieces. He's got the potential DEFCON. He's got the minutes for sure. And the fixtures are really good now as well. And the same as Rice. I mean, he's taken set pieces from one side and he's got a fantastic delivery. We know about Arsenal's set piece routine, and he's in and about there in the open goal threat as well. He's got what 2 goals and 4 assists so far. He's going to play plenty of minutes. He's going to be good for bonus. So I think those two definitely, like looking into it, they are options now. We've seen that. We've seen enough evidence of that. But at the same time, Caicedo's up there in the rankings as well. But when you look at the underlying numbers and how his goals have been scored, I think his kind of points are less sustainable going
yeah,
forward.
yeah. I would definitely agree with that. Just from watching, like, if you watch his actual goals, a lot of them, well, they're all. I think they've all been from outside the box. One of them, or maybe two of them, were quite heavily
Yeah.
deflected. So yeah, doesn't seem as sustainable as the other two options that you mentioned. But it's a weird one for me to get my head around because normally I would never choose. Like normally a midfielder, you're choosing someone that's actually like a winger. Like it's quite
Yeah.
rare even to have a number 10 in your midfield. Normally you pick wingers. I mean, you have four wingers and Enzo Fernandez in your team, so maybe it is like a bit of an adjustment that us seasoned
hmm
managers need to make to keep up with the rule change and sort of like the lay of the land in the Premier League as well, with like set pieces being so key and there not being as much like quality attacking play. I would suggest from
Yeah, that's
wingers. I don't
definitely
know.
played into it. Like, yeah, the way like the football's been played this season is definitely it's played into the hands of I think it's a bit of a coincidence. So like this season, like long throws and playing long, just like kind of suddenly popped out of nowhere. But this is the season we've introduced DEFCON as well,
Yeah,
and that's that type of play is perfect for DEFCON play. So it's a bit of a kind of a double blow, if you know what I
yeah,
mean.
yeah.
But yeah, you've got to adapt. Like as I said, we've got 10 weeks to get game weeks of data now, so you can either try and play the old way or look at how the lay of the land is now, as you said.
There we go. So your team for Game Week 11. I mean, it's like you've got 98% team rating, 67 predicted points
Nice.
according to Fantasy Football Hub. It's very strong. You've got any plans to do anything with it really, apart from just roll through?
Yeah, no, this week I think I'll save. I
Okay.
mean, I really want to save since my wildcard gave me K, I ideally want to save up to 5 free transfers, but I think I had to use two last game week. And since I used them two, I'm actually really happy with my team now. Like kind of going forward, I think this week I could save, and I might possibly because from now until Game Week 15, remember we get the 5 free transfers, so
Yeah.
you can afford to be a bit aggressive. So I'm not really that fussed about saving up to 5 free transfers. I would like to maybe save two, make a little move, here or there, see what happens. But yeah, this week I'll save and then possibly see what happens next week. So because we're getting those extra 5 free transfers in Game Week 16, I am just gonna kind of play it kind of a game game week by game week really. I do have some tentative plans in the next few game weeks,
Okay.
but nothing's set in stone.
Let's have. I want to ask you about that just because before we'll come on to captaincy in a little bit. But yeah, what are your plans? Because Liverpool from Game Week 12 go on a really good run, and I talked about
Yeah.
Szoboszlai already. Is he in your thinking at all from next week?
He is now. Now, like, so before, I guess, I think maybe game week 10 or game week 9, I kind of had in my head that I wanted Bruno Fernandes. I think I maybe mentioned that in previous videos. And the best way for me to get there in game week 12. Like so, I think game week 12 is an okay entry point because they play Man United play Everton at home. And I think the other good entry point for Man United is I was having a look at this earlier. What is game week 14 when they play West Ham at home, right? But I think game week 12 is a good point to bring them in as well. So game week 12, I was looking at doing Enzo to Bruno, and then you're funding that move. I'm going to be about zero point 0.5, zero point 0.4 short, but I can fund that move by doing Pope to Petrovic.
Okay.
And Bournemouth have got West Ham at home that week, I believe. Yeah, they've got West Ham at home. Yeah, so it's a good double move. Immediate fixtures, and kind of brings in Bruno for me, and then Chelsea's fixtures do get a bit tougher. And I know Enzo Fernandez has got Burnley away that fixture, but
Mm.
I still think Bruno Fernandes is a much better option for that game you can going forward. But now with the likes of options like Szoboszlai coming into the fray, and Liverpool picking up better form, I might maybe want a Van Dijk in there as well.
Yeah.
And that's going to be quite hard to get him when I've got Bruno Fernandes. I mean, I was looking at this earlier, and the only way for me to get Van Dijk if I get Bruno would be to take out Timber, or Gabriel, but Gabriel's going nowhere, of course. So Timber's the only really kind of feasible option. So yeah, so now there's a bit more there's a bit more questions. So a lot more is up in the air. And obviously Liverpool are have kind of in a way staked their claim. I think the last four games they've put up an XG over two, even against Real Madrid. I mean, I don't know if you watched the game, but they were
Yeah.
quite unlucky not to score more than one. And Courtois made some
He
fantastic
did.
saves.
Yeah.
So they seem to be getting there attacking wise. So let's see.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think like with the defense, apart from what you've just mentioned, it's very strong. There's no way I would sell any like either of those Arsenal defenders. They're just like it's what is it, 8 games without a goal that
Yeah,
they've not conceded.
it's
And like I was watching a bit of the Arsenal game in the Champions League, and the reaction when that penalty was given from that it was then overturned, but the reaction from the whole team was like they were just absolutely
yeah.
gutted. They were like irate.
The-
I think firstly because they didn't think it was a penalty, which it wasn't, but I think mostly because they're so aware of the fact that their defense is so elite and they're on this unbelievable run now, and
Yeah,
it could easily go to like 9, 10 games without conceding a single
yeah,
goal. And Raya's not even, is barely even making any saves, which is just insane. So yeah, I think I struggle to sell an Arsenal defender. And then if you do sell
yeah.
like Senesi or something to go up to Van Dijk, that's a lot of money in defence. So yeah, I suppose it would be quite tough to go there. In terms of your forwards, like Haaland and Mateta, pretty great. So let's go to
Yeah.
captaincy this week. What are you thinking?
So it's on Haaland at the moment. I just think I was looking at this earlier. Like I was looking at City's fixtures, and I just think in the next 6 games, there's definitely
Yeah,
a few games there where you can go against Haaland. I think this game week is one that you can do it because we've got Saka there at Burnley, so there's a good alternative there. Um, so I mean, like I'd say right now, I'd say,
Saka's at Sunderland away.
oh sorry, Sunderland,
Because
sorry, Sunderland away, yeah.
that's the thing. Because
But,
like people are saying that I don't love that fixture for Saka. Like I think it's tough to go there.
I mean, I still think it's a good fixture.
Yeah,
Again, it's not as good a fixture as we would have predicted, right? But
yeah, yeah.
I'd still back Arsenal to score 2 goals in that game at least, right? But yeah, you're right. I
From
mean,
corners,
they're
yeah.
not possibly, but who takes the corners? Well,
Declan Rice,
from the
just
one
get him in.
side.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but no, but I think Saka takes them from the right, does he
Yeah,
not?
yeah, yeah. He does. He does.
Or yeah, and then but the thing is, just on that, what they've been doing, I've noticed recently is that when the ball's been getting crossed in, they're crossing it deep, and then that Gabriel is hitting it across back
Yeah.
across goal. So then the actual person who's taking the corner is not actually getting the assist the way they're doing it at the moment. So that's just like a little side point.
No,
However,
you're right. Because that's how
but
Jokeres has scored a couple of his goals from
yeah,
knockdowns, and even from the Eze goal, where usually you'd expect the header to be the shot. That was you could tell that the header was going to be, set back for someone to
crossing it
then
back
come
in.
on. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, crossing it back in. But yeah, I still think he's a good option. But then, like, it's a still better fixture than Liverpool. right?
Yeah,
Even though
yeah, for
Man City
sure.
are at home, and but then look, Haaland. I mean, Esteve is still the second highest goal scorer for Man City,
Yeah.
with 2 goals. So it's unbelievable how much of a talisman he is right now. So that's kind of the main reason why I'm just going for Haaland right now because I do think City will score. Um, and if they score like maybe one or two, I'd be very surprised if Haaland isn't one of them.
Yeah.
Whereas even if Arsenal do win 2-0 and Saka's not got a goal and assist, I wouldn't really be that surprised because he's obviously a great option, but he's not got the talismanic percentage of a guy like Haaland. So I do think this week, but I do see the appeal in Saka. I do think he's a good option, and if anybody wanted to go for him, I wouldn't say it was like a too much of a crazy decision. But I think like the weeks coming up, like Newcastle away in game week 12, and then they've got Fulham in game week 13, and then Palace in 15. I think those 3 game weeks coming up are better weeks to go against Haaland.
Okay.
And I think those are the weeks I probably will go against him. But this week I'm about 90% on Haaland this week already. So
One final question, unless there's anything I've missed. Just a slight benching headache for you this week with Senesi, Anderson, maybe even Rodon, and then Minte's away at Palace. What are you thinking
yeah,
there?
yeah. So I think it's I mean between Anderson, Minty, and Senesi, right?
Yeah.
So I've decided I'm definitely going to play Minty. I
Okay.
think he's got the minutes. It's a tough fixture for sure, but he's got the minutes and he's been playing fantastic. I see. He was lucky to get those 2 assists, yeah, but I think he was a wee bit unlucky not to score as well. He had a really good chance, so he's getting the chances, which is all I can ask for. But between Anderson and Senesi, I'm currently got Anderson in the starting 11 just simply because they've got higher clean sheet odds than Bournemouth at the moment, and I think both of them are probably just as likely to hit DEFCON as each other.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, just going with the guy who's got the highest clean sheet odds with that one.
Fair enough. Anything else to touch on?
No, I don't think so. I think Mateta actually is another good captaincy shout.
Yeah, he's the only. I mentioned
Um,
that in my video. Like, he's the only potential one that you could go for. But for me, it's just like the fixture for someone like Mateta would have to be so much better than for Haaland, I think,
yeah,
just because of everything you said.
yeah. I think if that was a Burnley at home, then you probably would go Mateta, or
Yeah,
it'd be a much bigger decision. But but Brighton at home is a good fixture, but it's not a fantastic fixture. And yeah, if you were going to go for another forward, it has to be Mateta because
yeah.
his XG is the only one that's close to Haaland's. But yeah, I think the fixture would have to be a lot better for me to consider. But again, I think if anybody wants to go there, I think it's totally fine because the main reason is the fixture for City this week is tricky. It's a banana skin of fixture. So if you want to gamble and you want to try and I guess gain rank or whatever, then it's a good week to do it because I think this season is going to be like really about which weeks we can go against Haaland because he's been that good, and I think just got to find as many opportunities as possible.
Yep. Fair enough. It definitely does feel like that. Okay. Thank you very much, mate, as always, for your tips
Thank you.
and advice. I hope my setup's been okay and not too annoying for people watching. It should be back to normal very soon. Thank you guys for watching. Good luck this week. Enjoy the international break, and we will catch you after that.